Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. I didn't have a topic today until Jonathan watched, I don't know what video, one of the videos. I think last week's videos about the conference and what I learned and how I've never found my thing. And he said something about so if you didn't watch that video, I went to a conference, my work hosted a conference last week that was about IT type stuff, and I realized that like all the stuff that was going on in there, especially the AI. So the AI room was full the entire time, but the stuff that the presenters was talking about was already outdated because AI is advancing so rapidly. So it's like, why would you go to that? Like, why don't you just watch more recent content, because the presenters that were presenting outdated information like immediately. If they wrote it the night before, it's already outdated, right? And so I talked about how like that whole going to a conference for professional development or whatever just is lost on me. I don't. For me, again, this is another one of those situations of I was projecting my perspective onto others. And one of my coworkers' perspective was, I come to these because I hear terms or I learn things that I would have not known to research. Like I find things I didn't know about, and I go, oh, well, that's super valid, and I just, duh, right? But Jonathan said there's a sub aspect to this where going to such an event can lead to an invigoration of drive/interest, but what works for a hobby may not necessarily work for professional life unless it's becoming a drudgery and seeing things are giving you a new perspective to keep you going. Keeping me going. That's a good point. And the point there is, and I think the point that I was trying to make in that last video, or this video the other day about Tony Hawk and doing the thing that he loves, this all kind of ties together, and that is that I don't do what I love, right? There's the adage of find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life or whatever. That doesn't exist for me. Like I can't think of it. There's nothing that I love like that. There's nothing that I love to the point that I'm going to dedicate my life to it, right? I mean, there's my family. Is that a job? I mean, I guess maybe if I filmed it and put it on YouTube or something, I could turn it into a job. But I don't love working for people. It's just not something I want to do. I also don't love working for myself. Like, if I could turn board game design into a job, maybe I would love that. But also, I have tried and I burned out really fast on it because I don't want it to be work. I want it to be fun. So for me, for my personal self, there is no thing that I could dive into that deeply. And I think that's, part of what I was getting at. I watched a video recently, an older video of Phil Edwards. He's one of the journalists on Vox. He has a private channel or a personal channel, and he talked about how he's been getting a septic pumping magazine for like 3 years because his previous the guy who rented his place had a subscription when he got it, and so he just kept it going. And so I got like the funny part of that for me was that like here's a guy, this video journalist who has absolutely no interest in septic, is buying this magazine because it's fascinating to him. But as a professional, like there's no possible way that I'm ever going to subscribe to a magazine about my profession, or that I'm going to spend time outside of work studying my job, or that I'm going to go be enthusiastic about it at a present. Like that's just not, my life does not revolve around work, and it never will. Like that's just not a thing I care about. My life revolves around productivity. I care very much about productivity. But that's not necessarily work, right? That just means I'm not stagnant. I'm not sitting. I'm not watching movies and television 10 hours a day or whatever. So that is what I think I was trying to get. But the combination of these two videos, the conference thing as well as not finding my thing, I think that's what I was trying to say is that I don't know that there's anything that I could be that invested in, I've been wanting, and I'm now doing. I have filmed. We will see content soon. Board game content or video game content. I had that going on the old channel. I'm hoping to revitalize it. I've been thinking about revitalizing it now for years. Since COVID started, I've been putting effort into. I built a studio space. I tore it apart because it just wasn't going to work out. I was going to let my kids live here. I, got a new camera, took lots of pictures, like things. I've been exploring aspects of that space, and I would like to talk about games and really find myself. I've been finding myself lately excited about games again. I took 4 or 5 years off from really caring about current releases to now I'm like, in next week, Disney Lorcana comes out at Gen Con, and I'm super sad I'm not there. Like, I really want to be there for that. But it's just not going to happen. So I think that there are aspects of my life that I could enjoy turning into a profession. However, knowing myself, that would take the joy for me. Like, board gaming and video gaming has been the one thing, the only thing that I've carried my entire life. The only interest I've carried since the beginning of time. Even programming, which was, I would argue, in my teenage years, my preteen teenage years, that was a much bigger part of my life than gaming. It vanished for 20 years. I did not do it for a long time because I just burned out on it. And so having that experience of knowing that I am very capable of getting frustrated by the thing that I love means that doing content professionally, I don't think that's for me, right? I think I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it professionally. I think that's the difference. I'm absolutely not going to be professional about it. I'm going to not be anti-professional. I'm not going to sit here and throw slurs around and stuff, but I'm not going to be professional about it. And I think that's what hopefully makes it slightly different. But I'm also not striving for that, right? I just want to talk about games and things I'm excited about. But I see people that are all in on whatever it is they do. And I see people, obviously the guy who learns how to make bricks and turns his, life around by starting a brick making company and pours his life into learning about, mixes and stuff. Sure, that's fantastic. But I've seen professionals, legal people, and they're all in on it. That's all they think about. Financial guys, especially financial people. It's just all they do that's their thing. That's what I was trying to get at between these two things, is that I've never had that, and I don't think I ever will, and I think that's okay. I think that I'm good at my job, like all of my jobs. All of my current jobs I'm pretty good at. I'm pretty okay. I'll never be great at any of them because I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to be great. I'm not willing to put 100% of my effort. I'm much more interested in putting effort into not working, right? Into having time off. That's more important to me than working. And so I work so that I can have time off. I work so that I can enjoy my time off, right? It would be really easy to say I'm only going to work 20 hours a week and just have all the time off in the world, but I wouldn't be able to enjoy my time off because I wouldn't have the financial means to do so, right? So I work so that I can enjoy my time off. It's not the other way around. And I don't necessarily believe the adage of do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I just think that's kind of hokey BS that only happens to a very small number of people who get extremely lucky. Granted, their luck is often a product of their drive and effort. But I don't think that's for me. What do you think? What do you have? So we talked about Monday, if you had a thing. What if you could? If you could pause right now, whatever it is you're doing in your professional life, and take the job that would make you the happiest, what would that be? What would your thing be if you could make that choice right now? For me, I think it'd be furniture making. I think I would just make furniture. Not custom furniture. I mean, custom furniture, but not made to order furniture. stuff that I just would make stuff. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is revelry. It is a noun meaning boisterous festivity and merrymaking. Midnight, shout, and revelry. Tipsy, dance, and jollity. John Milton, an English poet. Reverie. R-E-V-E-L-R-Y. Revelry, isn't that also like what they play to wake up soldiers? Like, isn't that what I woke up to every day? Or is that... It's reverie.